Dawn Super here, helping people have better days. Today, I'm very fortunate to have Jeannie with me. Jeannie has agreed to do a live coaching session, and we are going to jump straight into that. So, Jeannie and I are connected to each other on Facebook, and we both have the neurodivergent lifelong condition of narcolepsy. And both of us are people who do not let that define us. And we find unique and courageous ways to work around the symptoms that come with that. This video is not about narcolepsy. The three topics that we're going to talk about today are the soundtrack and your brain, hoarding, and career as an older woman. And I can say that because I think I'm older than you by a little bit.
No.
So welcome, Jeannie. Thank you for agreeing to do this. Do you want to tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Dawn. Thank you for having me. I am actually older than you. I'm almost 55 years old.
Okay,
almost.
So you got me by a year and a half.
I am single. I'm a widow of many years. So I think it's just single now at this point, but I'm also a empty nester, which is very strange to not have some little person to take care of. So I take care of two little dogs instead now. I have, in the last couple of years, due to COVID, had to start over my entire career path. So that's always fun in your 50s. So life is very different and exciting right now. So I'm excited for this for sure.
Okay, I'm excited for this too. So I have this unique ability to think about a person, and an animal comes to mind, a power animal comes to mind. And then I go and I look it up and I see what it says about the person. So okay. Sometimes the animal is a little weird. Like it's sometimes uncomfortable for me to say it. Like one time I got a turkey as the power animal for someone, and I was like, do I tell them? And then I looked it up. I looked it up and I could see that it made sense for what they were going through at the time. So with that caveat, I got pheasant for you.
Pheasant, okay.
And it's very interesting to me because like a pheasant never would have come to my mind on its own. Like I had to struggle to think about what a pheasant even looked like.
I am doing that right now. Like,
okay. Yeah, what's the deal with the pheasant? Like, okay. So I did look it up and it was actually pretty good. It says, look to your inner pheasant power animal when everything you see appears dull and drab. Your sparkling vision seems muted. The pheasant power animal returns a rainbow of beauty into your life. It reminds you to take a breather, to stop focusing so much on big missions that you overlook the small miracles every day.
Okay.
When you feel yourself pulling back on your shining talents, seek pheasant power animal because you have your gifts for a reason. The universe doesn't grant sparkling spiritual aptitudes on everyone willy-nilly. Just use wisdom. You don't have to fly the flag for everyone, only the right people. When you struggle with being open to new experiences, pheasant is a great animal ally. As you go down the road, stay true to yourself, show off your feathers, and take a chance.
Oh my gosh, Dawn, that is incredible.
How spot on is that? Especially as you told me you were nervous about doing this. And
oh yeah, yeah, beyond. If it wasn't you doing this, I probably would have bagged out somehow. You have no idea how spot on. I am blown away by that.
Right from a pheasant. Who would have guessed?
I am not kidding you. There is so many specific details of that I have been going in my mind, even just today.
Yeah. It
Like
really,
the
it
quick,
fits with the
yes.
reading
Oh
too,
my gosh, that's
what we're planning on
incredible.
talking about.
Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you. Oh
Oh,
my
you're so
gosh.
welcome. You're so welcome. I love your energy and I love the light that's inside of you. And you talk about, being a widow and it's been so long. And do you even say that or do you just say single? And even to this day, I can still feel the love that you had for him. So it's okay to say you're a widow and it conveys to other people that you lost someone really special to you. Because if you didn't care about him, you'd say you were single, right? But
Right.
you still have that love in your heart for him, and that love is part of your being. It's part of who you are, and to try and deny it or put sauce on top of it to make it more palatable for someone else to eat is not the way to go. So it will be good for someone who catches your attention to know that you have that capacity for that kind of depth,
That's true.
right?
Yeah, very,
You
very
know,
true.
that your love was so deep that all these years later, it still beats inside of your heart so truly. And I think
Thank
that's
you
why
for
you're
that.
having, oh yeah. I think that's why you're having a little challenge with the empty nest thing too, because so much
Absolutely.
of your love was poured out onto that relationship that you had on a daily basis. It was nourishing and
Yes.
oftentimes in life, we find ourselves alone, whether it's empty nest or someone leaving us or someone passing. And it's in that time that it's super important to remember one of my favorite phrases, which is from the cradle to the grave, you're the only constant. And if you think about it deeply, there's not one being who will be there from the time you're an infant until the time you die. Even if you're a twin, that it won't
Right.
necessarily end the same way. And for me, that gives me some like, okay, it's not physically possible for someone to be here from the beginning to the end. So if I find myself alone on the journey, that makes sense, right?
Wow. Yes, that's puts a lot of clarity to that for me. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I've never thought of that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I think once I really started to get to know myself and realize that I'm an island. We all are. We're all islands. We all exist autonomous from every other being on the planet. But we have visitors. They come and they go, and they bring supplies from the mainlands. They help us construct structures that keep us safe. They teach us how to have new cooking skills and we build our island life from the experiences that we have with other people.
Wow.
So yeah, it helps a lot to know that it's okay to be alone sometimes.
I'm starting to embrace it a lot more, thankfully. So
Good. I
I'm
had
finding the beauty in it.
good. Two questions to start with. On
Yes,
a
ma'am.
scale of 1 to 10, how well do you feel you know yourself?
6.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like who you are?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about your personality. We're not talking about you as an individual being.
My personality.
Yeah.
I 8.
Okay. That's very strong and understandable because you are quite likable.
Thank you.
Okay. So do you know yourself well enough that if a superior came to you and sat you down and said something that went contrary to who you believe yourself to be, you would not accept what they said about you. You would continue to believe what you feel about you. Like if your superior came in and after a small incident with a rude customer, the superior came to you and told you that you were rude. And would you be able to say inside of yourself, yeah, no, that's definitely not me?
I would, I believe I would try to hear what they were saying, but I would definitely look at myself in the situation and analyze it that way, because I know that I can be sassy. So
Yeah, you have that shadow aspect of yourself. I do as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
So the important part of the question is, as you do that, are you being critical about yourself?
I don't think so. Not in that type of a situation. No.
Okay, good. So you're not dealing with the negative soundtrack. Are you encouraging in your head, or are you maybe a little?
I think I'm honest. I think I'm just very honest with myself about certain things. I don't think it's negative or positive. I think it's just very honest, whatever the situation is. But it's only, but that's coming to any other subject matter, that is not the case. You know, it's like externally, I'm very critical, very
of yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So all of your hesitation with pushing it from the 6 to the 10 in terms of knowing yourself is exterior and not having to do with your personality.
I think a lot of times I will stop at a certain point of realizing who I am. There are certain things that scare me a little bit, and that's an intentional stopping. So it's like sometimes you're almost afraid to go so far because you are afraid you might not be able to pull yourself back, you know, at that. So that's where that stops.
And is that in terms of like something you're attempting to accomplish, or is it in terms of the way you feel about yourself? Like,
I think both. I think that's a really good question. I think both.
Okay. So I totally get this. One more question. When there's no noise around and there's no people around and it's quiet, what's going on in your head? What kind of things are you thinking about or saying to yourself?
Oh, I'm gonna die alone. I'm might end up underneath a bridge somewhere.
Okay.
Those are things that have been in my mind for years now, but a lot of that's you know, like when I'm all alone and just in that space.
Yeah.
I try super hard to change that dialogue, but I go in phases. Like sometimes I'll just fall back into that and be okay with that and just say that it's because I've told myself that for those kind of things for so long that it seems normal to me. That sounds like the honest part of me, but I know that it doesn't have to be that way. I know that's not true. That's just what I've told myself so often that it feels normal and believable.
Yes. I actually, a lot of people feel that way. I know several people who have felt that way. I had similar thoughts myself, and I realized that the majority of the time I had them, they were connected to my sleep deprivation, where
yes,
I felt a lot less physically capable than I normally do, and that's when I started to think, oh man, if I feel like this, how am I gonna keep myself fed until I die? Like when you're younger and you know your roommate situation and you can work a job and have a bedroom, but then you're an adult and you have your own space and a dog, and it's like it can weigh on you. It can.
Yeah.
And the important thing for me to realize is that I'm never going to pull myself out of that space if I continue to invite it into my thoughts.
Yep.
Like they say, what you think about, you bring about. what you give your attention to is your reality.
Yes,
So,
and I believe that more and more every day.
yeah. So one of my favorite phrases is everything doesn't have to happen right now.
That's
And
another thing for me. Yeah, patience is not my virtue.
it wasn't mine either. It was not. And the key to it all was clearing my mind. I just dropped a video yesterday about clearing your mind without meditating. I can't meditate. I mean, now I can drop myself into a transcendental state very quickly. And a 5-minute meditation for me is like a 15 to 20-minute meditation would be for other people. Because we're neurodivergent. We're not neurotypical. Our brains work differently than other people's brains. So like we can dream while we're awake. That's actually a skill when it comes to meditating, because sleep and meditation are essentially the same thing. You're slowing your momentum completely down. And the benefit of meditation is you're awake while you're doing it. The benefit of narcolepsy is you're asleep while you're awake.
Right. It's very difficult to try to meditate. I think I want to try a walking meditation maybe, but I don't know how do you do that? I don't even know.
I love I can tell you. I love the phrase, if you're not thinking about anything while you're chopping wood, then chopping wood is meditation.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I love that too. That's great.
So the goal is, the thumbnail for the video says, when your board is clean, you have more room for equations. And what that means is when you're not jumbled up by all the, oh, I'm an empty nester now. Oh, I'm going to die under a bridge. Oh, I got to feed the dog. Oh, I have to go to work tomorrow. When none of that's going on, then you're like, I wonder if you're going to open a flower shop. You know, those kind of things. You get these inspired thoughts and these inspired actions. And so if you have time, check the video out. There's some really strong suggestions in there on how you learn to clear your mind. And this is so funny. So this morning, I'm sitting with someone who's a coach, and like a pretty powerful coach, like has like big audiences coach. And he says, I was telling them that, you know, you have to think good thoughts. You can't just stop thinking about the thing. It doesn't work that way. And I started laughing, and he said, what? And so I forwarded the point in my video where it says, they tell you that you just can't stop thinking about stuff. They tell you that you can't force yourself to stop thinking about stuff. And it's just not true.
It's not true.
It's not true. Be a rebel. Take all the self-help stuff that you hear that you can't do, that you have to be quiet to clear your mind, that you have to, I did it with noise inside my head. It just wasn't my own noise, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So when you're listening to Jason Mraz and you're singing about how great life is all the time, you're not thinking about your baloney.
No, you know? I love that.
Yeah, so that's one of the tips. And there were other ones for when singing is inappropriate, and helping you fall asleep. And the important thing, Jeannie, is to notice when you start having those, I'm going to die under a bridge thoughts, because something's going on in that moment, right? You got some sauce on you. Because you don't normally think that way, you know, when you're going through your day, you're like, I'm really good at my job. I'm a happy person. I like myself 6 out of 10 points. And then something happens in that 6 to 10 range that, oh, but wait a minute. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. And
Yeah.
I don't do this and this and this, and then I'm going to end up under a bridge. And you work your way back to it over and over and over again.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the boxes in your living room right now.
Uh-huh.
Keep working your way back to what you're dragging behind you.
Right. That's how I feel too. I feel like it's going through all of this is a cleansing of my soul, not just my storage unit. I mean, I really believe that.
Yes.
To be in a place where I can let go of things now, to me, is huge progress. I'm not just holding on to everything and not letting go. I'm okay with it. You know, I think that's definitely growth for me in a very strange way, but it is. I know that.
We all have to walk our own path. You know,
right. I say that every day. Every day.
Judith Orloff has a great quote.
Who is that?
Judith Orloff. She's an empath and an author. I'll send you one of her books. It's The Empath's Survival Guide. I found it very life-changing.
I think I
recommended it.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
You might just not have been ready for it yet, but
I started reading the other one first, or listening to the other one
Dare
first.
to Lead.
And I thought that that was so different than what I thought it was. So I'm so glad that you recommended that to me, because I had that book for like 3 years, or whenever it came out. I got it immediately because I love her with it, and I never read it.
And again, that's Brene Brown's Dare to Lead.
Wonderful book.
Yeah, it really changed my life and helped me a lot with my perspective. So the funny thing is, I set the timer so that I could remember when we were going to run out of time, and I forgot to hit start. But it just popped up and said, we have 9 minutes left on this recording, and then we'll stop it and splice them together. Okay, so Wayne Dyer has a great quote: "The wake does not drive the boat." And every time I hear it, I think about my life behind me as the wake behind my boat. And it was only when I got to that place where, okay, I'm an island, people come and go, no one's going to be with me from the beginning to the end, so why do I need all this crap again? If it's just me on my island, I ended up becoming a minimalist, and like I have like maybe 10 trinkets in my whole bedroom, and like it's always clean. Like my mom would die if she saw how clean my bedroom was, because you used to have to push the door open from the toys and the books and the clothes and all the things that I accumulated that I felt were so important to me. But when I sit here and think about the fact that I'm on an island by myself, do I really need all this stuff? Do I really want to be responsible for dragging all this stuff through this human existence? No, man, I want to pick up a backpack and go. You know, I don't want to be tied down to all this stuff.
How do you choose which backpack to take? I don't know.
The biggest one, man.
Okay.
I actually went to Florida for 4 days with a backpack. That's all the luggage I had at the backpack.
Nice. Very nice.
And when you learn to clear your mind and you know who you are, you start losing your attachment to the things you've been dragging around. And once those are gone, your mind is not cluttered, your space is not cluttered, and you have so much room inside of yourself for more hobbies, more friendships, more conversations, more activities, more creativity, more peace.
It sounds amazing. I have a lot of work to do though.
But you don't really. You think you do, but you don't. I can tell you by the end of this month, you're going to feel like a different person. Just from the insights that you've gained in, the last couple of months, not just today. I mean, today's going to be where we crack your egg open.
Okay.
But you've been tapping on that egg for quite a while now, and you've been primed for this moment to really believe it. You just gotta believe it. Okay, so the hoarding. So I used to have these recurring dreams where I had to pack up all my stuff and move like quickly. And I used to think it was because I moved like 17 times in 18 years. I had like this curse on me somehow where every time I rented a space in my first marriage, the people ended up having to sell the house. So we moved a lot, and I thought that's what it was from. But when I looked at the dream, it wasn't things I owned now that I was packing up. It was things I owned in the past. And I had a place that I owned, and I got into a relationship that took me to another state. And I left my things in my space until I sold it. And I sold it while I was out of state. And I packed everything up and I put it in a storage space while I was out of state. And so I had this energetic connection to these things that were in this space.
Right.
And at some point, all these things, they were important to me, right? I'm paying, $59 a month back in 19, whatever the heck it was, to keep these things that are so important to me. And eventually I had to get rid of the space, and the things were shipped to me. And damn, that was pricey.
Yeah.
You ship all these boxes from storage space. And I remember going through them and thinking to myself, I really didn't enjoy any of this time in my life. So why did I feel so attached to these things? And it was because it was kind of like a proof, I guess, proof of the life I had lived, evidence of my existence on this planet.
It used to be like this, yeah.
This used to be important to me, and this used to be important to me.
I used to go, before I emptied out my storage unit, and only one other person knows this, but I used to go and sit outside the storage unit, and I would go in and just look at my things because I couldn't take them out. I was like, oh yes, that was, that's my favorite thing. I used to hang over the door that I had, because I no longer have a door. It's I'm in a very temporary living situation, so yeah, it was like holding on. It was literally holding on to a time in my life where felt safe. I had Cedar there with me. Everything was how I thought it was supposed to be. All those little things, and they're now sitting right in front of me because I emptied out the storage unit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And you're in this space where you're like, I needed it then. I don't need it now, but I might need it tomorrow.
But I might, yes. I don't know that I'll ever find one like this ever again.
Exactly. And every time I get rid of something, I realize I should have kept it. A perfect example.
Every time.
Perfect example. I cleaned up my kitchen. Got rid of all my stuff. I'm like, turkey baster. I don't need no turkey baster. I put my turkey in an oven bag, or I buy a pre-cooked turkey. I am never, ever, ever going to need this turkey baster ever again. Dollar item, right? Like you could go to the dollar. That's how I rationalize. I could just go to the dollar store and get me another turkey baster, right?
I do the same thing.
So I got rid of it. Thanksgiving time. So here comes Christmas, and we picked up our live Christmas tree, and then we went to the movies. I didn't know you're supposed to get your tree home right away and get it into water, or the sap can cover the bottom so much that when you put your tree in your tree stand, it won't suck up any of the water. So the
I just learned that today too.
So the tree stand is full of water, and we need to take the tree out. And if only I had something that could suck the water out of the tree stand.
Oh, I knew it would have to be something like that. A MacGyver thing. I knew that was coming. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And immediately you think of the only thing you just got rid of.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It almost always happens
wow.
that way for me.
Thanks for making me feel so normal. Oh, wow.
So when I go through that place, like it's the middle of summer and you're looking at the NyQuil cold and flu, it's got this much left in the bottle.
Half a dose,
like,
yeah.
It's going to be at least 3-4 months since we need this. I just throw it out, and inevitably I end up needing it again, but I just will get more if I do,
Right.
And that's the thing, is that when you're worried about dying under a bridge, you feel like you can't replace the things if you get rid of them now.
I'm afraid I won't have the money to go get more NyQuil. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I heard a great quote that fear is praying for what you don't want.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah. Worry is praying for what you don't want.
It is. And if any type of the law of attraction that I'm trying to focus on, that is so exactly the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing.
And it's also very normal.
Yes.
We're, I think, hardwired to look for problems,
right,
like antelope.
Right. We try to prepare for that, or yes.
Yeah, and that also comes from trauma, to have that fear of lack, and what am I going to get out of life?
Right.
If I don't have it now,
yeah,
why will I have it later? Yeah. Like you have a lack mentality, and
very much so.
And that also affects your career, because when you feel a sense of lack, it affects your self-worth, and you settle for less than you deserve.
You settle for years. Yes.
Yeah. And maybe even before you even notice that you are doing that, It's like one day.
I know that I've always done that.
Yeah.
For decades, I've done that. Yeah.
So when you let go of the past and the things that you don't really need, I still have things. I have things that I love and things I keep with me. It's funny, someone asked me what my most prized possession was. And I had to really think about it. And honestly, it's probably my headphones. like of all
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, of all the things that I own, they give me the most.
It's true, right? It is true.
Yeah. So
mine was a pendulum, but I lost it in one of my many moves this year.
Okay.
Took care of that. The universe working for me.
So was it your most prized possession because someone gave it to you, because of what it was made of? Was it?
It was because I've never been drawn to an object before.
Okay.
And I was at a fair, and I felt physically and emotionally and spiritually attached to this thing, and I just absolutely loved it. And I've never had that connection with an item, but I loved that it was a pendulum. So it just was everything. But but I'm okay with that. It's okay. Hopefully somebody fabulous finds it.
So you were drawn to the pendulum because it helps you make decisions.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as
And yes, I don't have, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And I also did it for, I used it for other people as well. And
It's
that was
always
fun.
It's always easier to help other people make decisions, isn't it?
Oh yes, I'm very bright when it comes to that.
And
Just don't look at my life and judge me.
The reason for that is because we can pull back 1,000 feet and we're not attached to, it's like kind of like watching a television show. They're kind of like characters. So
right,
this character is this personality and does this, that. What should they do next? And you're like, you know, playing a game with your friends, and because you're not attached to it.
Right.
And so if you can do that with yourself, pull back 1,000 feet, take out all the emotions, and just look at what the characters are doing. It helps you figure out what they should be doing next. If you could do anything that you wanted to do for a career, what would it be? Like if I could say, boom, tomorrow you are this, you are a successful this, what is this?
I'd like to be a psychic medium.
Love it.
That's what I'd want, but I don't have the things to do that. I think I love woo-woo stuff. So
okay.
Or a naturopath doctor. One or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that would be fun.
You would like to do readings, but you don't have the psychic abilities. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, I'm not a yes. I love tarot cards and anything like that is very fun for me. I enjoy things like that, and I want to help people. I just don't know. I don't know. I want to nurture people in a sense somehow. Like that's why going into being a medical assistant just randomly was very healing for me at that time, because I went from going from being a daycare provider that got shut down, and then going into, I literally can put things in people's noses, and I mean, I feel like I'm a nurturer at that point, and just anything that rides along that line that I can nurture someone, and it has to be, I love the touch of people. I'm a very touchy-feely person. I almost get, I don't know if it sounds strange, but like energy from like hugging someone or just rubbing their back, you know, if they're not, you sense that there's something going on with them. And if I can just go and rub somebody's back, or, you know, that just, I literally feel energized by that.
So and you have that ability to lay hands on people and your fingers find their pain. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if it's it's more of a spiritual pain that I feel. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you lay hands on people, you can feel where their struggles are and where they're having issues in their life.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually
or that they
a psychic ability.
I can see it from someone, you know. I've done that to people, like strangers, you know, and just know that, and I've never had a bad reaction, thank goodness, because I mean, that could be very creepy to people. So,
Yes.
you know, people have been, you know, been very welcoming to that. So
That's good.
I try not to do it, but my impulse is not always appropriate.
Yeah,
So,
it's strong.
shocker.
It's strong.
Yeah.
It's I like to ask people, you know, if I get something on them, I like to ask them if they want to hear it. And unfortunately, the social media has kind of ruined that, because people are sending out these messages on Instagram. I felt inspired to read for you. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then they're like, give me $200. And so,
Right. Yeah. See,
yeah,
that's messed up. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
So
Yeah. I know.
it's tricky to even have those conversations on social media anymore. But when you say that you enjoy reading tarot, and you say that people receive the things that you give them well, and you have the ability to lay hands on people sometimes without even touching them, what if you went into some sort of a metaphysical massage practice, or a pop-up shop where you were selling metaphysical things, where you could make it like a salon where you bring in people who do readings or tarot cards or something along that line, and they each have their own booth space, and they pay you rent every month, and you manage the whole thing. That's something, like, I don't know if you're inclined. It's just what an idea of something.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Could you?
I think that's an incredible idea.
If you are more computer literate and you like websites and stuff, you can do the same thing online. And then, like,
I was thinking that actually for a website, I was thinking about doing. I just wanted to do something like something woo-woo, and just try different things that I've always been interested in trying, and try them out for people, and just see what I got out of that, you know, and just kind of report on that, you know. This didn't do anything for me, or, you know, wow, this made me feel amazing. Yeah, I think it just sounds like so much fun to me.
It is fun, and
even just for a hobby. So yeah.
Yeah, and you work it as your side hustle until it becomes your main thing.
Sure.
I've been doing YouTube videos on the side for 8 years now, and then finally at that place where I'm monetized and my audience is growing. So there's nothing wrong with taking a long time to get to where you want to be in the future, just as long as you're always taking little steps toward it and not thinking about dying on drug bridge.
Right.
Like, put your thoughts forward. I want to end up in Maui. I want to live in Maui. I've been there a couple of times, and the island calls to me. I can hear it calling to me all the time. I was born on Oahu in the Army hospital, and we left when I was very, very small. So going back to the island, I felt like I probably should have stayed there, you know, but I would have had a different life if I was there. But when I'm driving home, I live in LA, so there's palm trees and stuff. And when I'm driving home, I pretend that I'm driving to my house on Maui. And
good for you. I love it.
Those are the kind of things that you can, you know, replace those thoughts with. But sometimes those thoughts are just too strong for pretending. And that's when it's good to put the headphones on and Bruno Mars all the way, you know, belt it out if you need to, because you can't be Bruno Mars and think about your baloney at the same time.
Oh, yes, that's so true, isn't it?
Yeah. So there are a bunch of things that you could do that would, you know, lend to that end goal of yours of helping people and it being a metaphysical kind of thing. And we can have another session and like talk about your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm also a startup consultant. I'm doing startups for the last 16 years in product-based manufacturing. And the company that I contract with now is actually a wellness brand, and they have, you know, 300 SKU of encouraging metaphysical type products. So
Oh boy,
I'm
that
knee deep in knowledge for the knowledge for the wholesale industry.
wow, that's incredible.
The comparable products, you know, our competitors, and I know who we're selling through that you can buy from, and get it going. Like,
that's exciting.
yeah, you could even do a drop ship
Yay!
website.
What a great idea.
You can
That's
do a
incredible.
you can do a drop ship website where you're not housing any of the product. You don't get as much per item, but you also don't have to touch anything. So you can be collecting that money from those sales while you're at your pay the bills job for now.
I love
and
that.
Because you're not afraid to be on camera and you love to talk about these things, you could start a Facebook group, Jeannie's Metaphysical Goodies, and you can get the item that you're drop shipping and use it, talk about it, promote it, and put the link, buy this now right here at this link. And then they click the link, they do the drop ship. You don't touch anything. You're just telling people about things and giving them the opportunity to
That's exactly what I need. I didn't even know that was a thing, and that's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I want to do. Exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, and then once it starts to
that's
grow,
incredible, Dawn.
Once it starts to grow and you have a good amount of people in your group, and like say you have 300, 400, 500 people in your group, and they're coming for the show because Jeannie's entertaining and funny, and they want to see what you found because you find fun things. Then you can sign up. You can like literally turn it into a legit business. You can get a wholesale license. You can buy things from a wholesale website. Like we have shopping groups from Facebook that buy 50 pieces of one item that they sell all out of. They buy 100 pieces. They buy 350 pieces. You could start a subscription box. There are a lot of things that you can do.
It's perfect.
Yeah, so don't.
I love you.
I love you too.
I appreciate you so much. Oh, it was exciting.
It is exciting. And you know, now that you have time to yourself because you have the empty nest, you can make your side hustle your new child, right? And you can nurture your business. That. You can nurture your business like you nurtured your baby.
Yay.
Yeah,
that's
and you
brilliant.
Can make room for make room for all the products you're going to sell by getting rid of all the stuff that's in your living room.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I will. Yes, that's so exciting. You are just amazing.
You're amazing.
You are.
It's fun. So the best thing about all of that, Jeannie, is that you're staying really true to you with all of it, you know, like when we first started talking about the pheasant and how you're here to sparkle. You do, even sticking Q-tips up people's noses, you sparkle. You do.
I love it.
and being able to make a career out of that, right? They say do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? I love, I don't feel like I'm working. I don't feel like I'm working right now, you know?
Wow.
Okay, so
great.
What do you feel is the most exciting thing you got out of the last hour?
Oh,
the most
goodness.
Like what's got you the most excited?
The validation that the things that I find super exciting and fun, you brought like it's not just a crazy little dream to me. You brought it so into reality, and oh yes, we can do this and this and this, and this is how this is. I'm like, oh wow, this is like a thing that we can actually do. Like, I've been thinking about that for a long time, and you just validated this is a legit thing I could be doing, and that's blown me away.
I
That
want to
is
tell
that. Yeah.
I want to tell you the company that I consult for does like $500,000 a year in business. So it's doable.
And I'll be saying that about me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very profitable space, encouraging people, and and it feels
And how
so
fun
good.
is that?
It feels good to make money helping other people feel good.
I have no idea, but I'm about to find out.
Yeah. Awesome. That's really great, because I think that's the thing that was weighing you down the most was, what am I going to do with the rest of my life?
Oh my goodness. Yes, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Very cool.
Have purpose. I need to have purpose. And yeah.
So you were nervous to do this. How do you feel now that you've done it?
I'm very thankful that I showed up. And very thankful for you. Because like I said, I know you well enough. You have made so many changes in my mindset, in my life, just in the very little bit that I have gotten to know you. And I will always show up for you for that, because you are incredible. And you give so much. I would never not want to show up for you.
Awesome. So now you just need to make sure that you show up for you. Oh, I lost you for a second. There you go. Did you hear that?
I don't know what happened. Yeah.
That's a little blip. So what I said was, now you just need to make sure that you show up for you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. You're right. Yes, I do.
And you need to get out your pom-poms.
I do.
And yep. And just remember that, no one else is going to do it except for you. You're the only one here all the time. So
yeah. And doing it for me is enough. Yeah.
That's something else. I mean, who else do it for, right?
Well, that's what I'm always thinking. Like, I always feel like I should be doing something for someone, but it never comes into mind that it should be for me. So yeah. That's gonna make a huge change for me. Yeah.
That's also a trauma response, being a people pleaser. It is.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get over that. One thing that helped me with that was, who's pleasing me? I'm running around trying to please all these people. Where's my line? Why aren't they all lined up to please me, right? Okay, maybe I won't put myself out this time, right? Because if you're always giving and you're never getting back, it's imbalance. You want to stay balanced.
Yeah, and you wonder why you feel so drained. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you find yourself being the one who's doing the pleasing, is when you start feeling like a doormat.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you start pulling back at that point. Someone wants your attention.
Oh my goodness, yes. So cannot
and we're actually, the little thing popped up and said we're about out of time.
Oh, okay.
So do you have anything else that you want to say before we go?
I just want to thank you so much, so much for everything. You're one of my very favorite people. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Now we'll think of a name for your business.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, Jeannie. Yeah, woo something for sure.
Thank you for everything.
Okay. Bye, Jeannie.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
What you just watched was an empowerment coaching session with Jeannie. It was done live, and it was the very first session I've ever had with Jeannie. While we've been Facebook friends for a long time, and she has consumed my helpful mental health content online, this was our first session. So that's what it looks like, and we'll continue on through the 10-week program with Jeannie. And I have this unique ability to just tune right into what people need and get the noise out of their way and have them living the life that they want. And if you want that for yourself, visit dawnsuper.com and check it out.